Ugh. Hello, and welcome back. Hope everyone's having a good day so far. Hope everyone's had a good week so far. Hope you're all having a good one. We're back at it again with me absolutely despising doing art. I hope it's nowhere. Oh shit, it's behind me, isn't it? Anyway. Let's... Alright. Let's get started with today before I make myself look like more of a clown. We're just continuing on with what we were doing last time. I do have something that I would like to work on, and I think it would be interesting to try and develop it on stream, but I'd prefer to get this one a bit more further along and done before I do that. Alright. Hey, Devil, how's it going? Made any more Jesuses and or devils? I'm just gonna focus on getting some of this done while we start up for today. Craziest thing to happen to you this week? I mean, it definitely seemed kind of up there. It's one of those things, like, it's not the weirdest thing I've ever encountered, but, like, it's definitely, on a list of, like, things that you definitely remember for a lot longer than you'd like to. Because it's just so... out of the blue, I guess, is kind of the best way to think on it. Alright. Fuck. Give me a moment. I'm trying to collect my thoughts, and it's not being very successful. I did stay up a fair bit late last night, because I started playing, Age of Wonders 4. I wanted to try that game out. I spent like 9-10 hours playing it yesterday. This is why I shouldn't be allowed to play strategy games in my free time, because I kind of just don't stop. To be fair, it was one of those, like, I have not had, like, a proper day off in a little while, so I was willing to let myself have this. I just didn't expect it to absorb that much day. And it was like 10, 11 o'clock by the time I finally called it. It's a fun game. I really enjoy it. It's a nice take on like the formula for kind of your 4X game. It feels really nice. Four different fronts by 5 AI for no reason. Okay, that I will kind of agree with. So the first game I played with the Eldritch stuff. Because I've only played custom factions so far, which is probably not the best way to start the game, but fuck it. It's how I wanted to play it. So I quickly customized up an Eldritch faction. I actually really enjoyed playing that. Up until the point where, like, I don't know what I fucking did to this AI, but he would just permanently be sending his ruler into my lands off cooldown, right? Like, the fucker would respawn, he's immediately back. He's not even got, like, a full army yet. He's got, like, 2 units to come along with it. He'd send it there. I'm killing that constantly. That's not the problem. The problem is that eventually another AI started spawning like marauders in my territory, so I had to go deal with them and then go back deal with that guy, then go back deal with the marauders, then go deal with that guy, and then I came back one of the times and it wasn't the marauders I had to deal with, it was their ruler, and their ruler just kind of fucking killed me. And I'm like, huh, I'm on such a backpedal now. This is like, I don't think it's recoverable. And it's just gonna progressively be me dying over and over and over again with no, like, really window to fix it. So I'm just gonna, like, say I've learnt from this game and I'll make another faction. I went and made the vampires, the brand new ones. And holy shit, it went way, one's gone a lot different. Now that I know mechanics, that one's gone a lot easier for me. And especially knowing that the vampire faction fits a little bit more my style. I also did turn on, was it mega cities as a thing for the world, which I'm not gonna lie, you should never let me have mega city sort of options. I absolutely love one city challenges that just benefit me. Currently my capital is like bigger than all of the other regions pretty much. Like, it's bigger than almost like 2 AIs put together in terms of space that I've taken up and like power. Like, there was a free city that was attacking me for a while, and I just kind of went over and was like, bye. Sieged them, killed them instantly. I fucking auto-resolved the siege, and I didn't lose a unit. Like, that's what threw me off. It's like, this is a risky battle, do it. Nobody dies, they're gone. I'm like, cool, raise the city now. Fuck that. I came to conquer, didn't mean to keep it. Which is probably a bad sign that I'm enjoying playing all of the, like, evil sort of stuff, in that game. It's fun. Being evil in that game is really nice. And I'm not gonna lie, there is a part of me that's like, I'm pretty sure this game was the foundation for that one anime that came out recently. It's like, the guy that's playing a strategy game. Right? The guy that was playing a strategy game got reincarnated into the world, and he's playing the strategy game as like the worst faction. And it's because they're like evil and the way the heroes work and all that. It really reminds me of it. I like to play as the Lich King kind of a deal. Evil factions started to attack me at the start of the game. Kept raiding my territory. I was basically a body shield between the evil factions and the good factions. The evil factions, the good factions started to war with each other, and they were fighting in my lands because it was in between them. Oh, no. I kind of say, yeah, that does seem rough. How's the naval-orientated parts of the game? Because I have actively not enabled that so far. The two maps I've been playing on, I both made like a single continent. Because I'm curious if like the naval stuff's interesting enough to like warrant playing it yet, or if I should just keep fucking around with the stuff that I've got. But no, I've enjoyed what I've played of the game so far. It's the same as ground combat? Oh, okay. So it is just adding a level of, you just have to expand your military in multiple ways sort of argument. Not sure I actually like that. Oh, give it a moment. Hey Gleb, how's it going? Visually you just have unit ships in combat. Okay. Because, like, if it is gonna just be that, then I'm probably not gonna interact with it for a very long time, because okay, this is a bit of a hot take kind of energy moment, but, like, I feel like most strategy games suffer for the fact that, like, the combat's the same for both, right? Like, Civ 5 is the one I'll use as an example. I think it did naval combat not bad, but it was still, like, it's similar to ground combat, except it's, like, now you have units that do slightly different things, right? Which is the important part. So the tactical decisions you would make with naval combat is interesting, especially knowing that certain naval vessels can also assist land. But nonetheless, I still, in that game, felt that it's like you either play kind of a Pangea map, or a two continents map, and only lean into military, like the naval stuff late game, when necessary, or you just never touch it. And that's how I kind of feel with a lot of them. In Endless Legend, the first one, you either you wanted to play with one or two continents, or you played with Fractal and you played the factions that benefited from it the most. That's kind of my problem with how a lot of it kind of comes out, is that it's either, it feels like you see that you're playing on continents and you play a continent faction, or you don't, like, you just actively never interact with that thing. Started fucking around with RPG Maker. Nice. How are you? I'm alright. Tired, but you know, it is what it is. I had one good game set up in islands, and it was easy because focus on taking over islands, only using water. Yeah, like, that's the thing, is like, I feel most of these games have it like you want to do one or the other. You don't really want to do land and water, and splitting your focus makes you weaker sometimes, even on maps that like feel like it would be good for both. And at that point in time, it's about knowing what your opponents are doing more than about what you should do. Because it's like, oh, my opponents are doing naval, so I need to do naval defenses, but not naval military, and do land-based military so I can beat them. And then they'll do vice versa, and it becomes like this just mess of thing, and then eventually you have to fight them on their turf. It's just, who do you fight on the turf first? And that's a positioning argument, not like a good build. So I don't have the Vampires DLC, unfortunately, so I can't play the game as my favorite D&D villain, Shard von Zarek. Yeah, that's fair. No, I like the Vampires faction, though. They do have some really cool mechanics. I think one of my favorite mechanics is how the EXP works on them. It really gives an interesting and unique growth playstyle to them. Because I'm assuming you know what happens with the ruler EXP. Well, technically, all of the heroes other than the ruler's EXP. Can you explain how? The short answer is 20% of all experience your heroes gain that's not your ruler is given to your ruler instead. Because your heroes are turned into vampires like automatically. So your ruler gains a shitload more experience, which is even better because what you can start doing is keeping heroes in your main military. So basically your hero is going around and like double dipping on an experience. Yeah, so like all my character and also your other heroes will get bonus stats based on the level of your ruler. I believe it's based on the whatchamacallit level, when they get those unique abilities on the right side of the skill tree. I think that's when they unlock like an additional, I think it's like, it's a little bit of health and a little bit of damage I think they get from that. So it's kind of like you want to make like your military is around your ruler. Which, like, most of the time is going to be the case. But, like, this is really especially the case. That'd suit my place also. Yeah, like, I love it as well. That's why I say, like, my favorite part is that I'm running a, my main military force has, like, 2 other heroes in it, and then, like, a bunch of, supplementary units to just get me through it all. And I believe I've set my hero as a warrior, just so they can get into the fight and then do morale damage a lot, because evil and shit, so it's really easy to get a lot of, like, good shadow and chaos stuff, to, like, lower morale. So yeah, no, I've been absolutely enjoying playing them. The Eldritch characters were fun, but, like, I think my problem with the Eldritch forces that I was playing with is that the military itself felt so weak and disposable. Especially by the later stages of the game. Like, it was my hero did 90% of my damage, which is great. That's kind of how the game plays. But it felt like my summoned tentacles would be more relevant to the fight than anything else I would bring to the fight. Because I was all about, like, mind control and disruption and all of these sorts of things. So my hero would just, like, fuck their, like, it would see their, whoever their, like, main hero or ruler was and just go, hey, yo, see this guy? I'm gonna fucking make him fight your own forces and nuke the shit out of them. And in the process, nuke the shit out of him. It's eliminate all of the, like, mainstay problems during that time, and then just go. That's how I played the Eldritch group, and it felt right. It felt like it was working, and then it just all of a sudden didn't. Admittedly, I haven't been playing with certain mechanics as much as I feel like I should be, like the item forge. I haven't built one of those yet in either of the 2 playthroughs I've played. I'm trying to build it in the vampire one, like, at the stage I was at, which, keep in mind, I was at a stage where I have a very large main city, but I'm also hyper accelerated because I had, like, some really nice, stuff around me. And vampires also have really nutty acceleration mechanics. Did more work than the Eldritch Abomination I had? Yeah. I think with the Eldritch, I should have been playing more to summons than I was. And relied more on them. Like, if I was to reapproach, I think that's one of the major things I would have changed about how I played that faction. As I would play a lot more summon-orientated. It's a very, very fun, good game. It also runs a lot better than I was expecting for how, like, visually beautiful it is. Would you stream it? Given the opportunity, I would. But I can tell with damn certainty that my PC would not handle that. Right, like we all know that that'd be the case. It's less of a would I and more of a could I. But like that's the same argument with a lot of strategy games. Like, would I stream them? Yes. Can I stream them? Not really. I love strategy games. I absolutely adore them, and I would love to play more of them, and be given the opportunity to play more of them. Especially like Paradox. Paradox is really good with the games they do. My graphics card, the game crashed every time I did a manual battle. When it started getting to like what I would consider mid to late game, the turns would take so long to process. And I mean very, very long time to process. An amount of time that's like I was watching 20-minute YouTube videos, and I would watch a full video, and it would take, like, in the space of 3 or so turns. Now, admittedly, I was taking a fair few game actions, but... it was definitely more of a, the game chugging sort of problem. But yeah, there were definitely some moments with the manual battles that I noticed the game having a little bit of trouble for me as well. Specifically when, like, a meteor would come down on my, like, a character, and the fire particles would start, and you just see the game go, give me a moment. Oh, speaking of random game stuff, did you see that, was it Black Flag? Assassin's Creed Black Flag has been announced for a remake. It's the first Assassin's Creed game that's getting an official remake. Didn't know that. Yeah, I think it was announced like today or tomorrow. Oh, yesterday. Yeah, today or tomorrow. I don't know. You know, time travel problems. Am I right? But yeah, no. So that's the first official Assassin's Creed remake that's going to be made, and it's unsurprising because like. I mean this with the most love and care to that franchise, which is not what they do to it. That was objectively their best game, right? Like, I don't think anyone's gonna disagree. Black Flag was probably the best Assassin's Creed game they've ever made, and it was only held back by the fact that it was an Assassin's Creed game. Hey, Sweeb, how's it going? I still want to play a Black Flag at some point. It's ironically enough the only Assassin's Creed game I've ever played myself was the first one, which is why I never understood the hype for the genres. Because I played the first one and I was like, yeah, it's alright. It's definitely not a bad game, but like. Then I compared it to, like, Far Cry 3, and I'm like, damn, I like Far Cry 3 way fucking more. Which says a lot, knowing that I absolutely despise first-person shooter games now. But, why did you... Okay, I'm not gonna question that. First and the second, like, again, so you'll probably agree with me on somewhat on my statement, whereas, like, they're not bad games, they're just, I don't understand, again, how do you say this without sounding like an asshole? I don't understand the hype behind them. I like them, like, the game mechanics were interesting and fun. But, like, there were so many other games that came out around the time of it that I felt like did mechanics similar, but better. Like, fuck, I played PS2 games over wanting to play fucking Assassin's Creed. Now, I'm not going to speak on the story because, again, I barely remember what I did play, and what I have seen of the story does look kind of cool. Like, I do like the idea of a lot of the anima stuff and everything. But I agree with, like, some of the fans, is that the game felt like they were engineering and building up to, like, a modern, like, dealing with the Assassin's Creed mechanics, but in a modern day setting. That's actually what the games felt like they were building up to, what I saw. Long day at work, apparently I'll be very busy for the next 2 weeks as well. Merry Christmas, as they say. How about you? I'm alive. That's the best that I can ask for. Black Flag, not played it. Not played it much because I bought it during work time, yeah. But you are an asshole too, true. From the little I played, the Black Flag, I do agree that it did the best at innovating and making a cool addition and using existing mechanics. Yeah, like, that's the thing that I felt from everything that I saw about Black Flag, is that the game itself is great, and it's the Assassin's Creed part of it that lets the game down. Which is why everyone was excited for Skull and Bones initially when it got announced, because we were promised Black Flag mechanics, but with co-op. And then what they delivered was not that. And then it had the whole, like, Quad A bullshit going on it as well, right? Again, I think Skull and Bones would have been a perfectly fine game to release if it didn't have the, like, promise of being a Black Flag and didn't have the bullshit of, like, like a 4A game. I think that game would have released perfectly fine. but they actively took every possible approach they could to make it a bad launch. And that game kind of died because of it. Which probably sent the wrong message to the upper echelon of people. The squeak, "I'm alive," will always be the most relatable answer. Malice Squeak compilation? No. What? Did you see the new DLC for the Assassin's Shadows? No, I have not. I mean, oh dude, I couldn't stop giggling at Yawa's one that she did. Was it this morning? Whereas the RV just falls on its back. You just hear fucking me doing the dumb Doofenshmirtz voice in the background. Ah yes, the Juicinator! What am I missing? This area. AC Shadows did a collab. Oh yeah, no, I did see that actually. I haven't looked into it though, but I did see like loosely that it was happening, and I was definitely like a question, like eyebrow raised kind of energy of like, huh. Of all the collabs I ever expected to see with Assassin's Creed, Attack on Titan was not on my bucket list. Look at it and tell me this is AAA quality. Alright, let's have a look. Already, I just see, like, from that thumbnail. Let's pause the music. I want to see how bad this looks.
It is over.
Scouts wins free. Come on, let's go.
What?
I shall ascend.
Okay, no, that's what Titans look like. I'll give them that. It's just the rest of this cutscene is what I'm getting more questionable about. There's a lot of things that are just feeling very clunky.
You want a meal, monster? Come and get it.
Yeah, that there is kind of my example. It's because mouth movement's so minor, but... No, okay, again, this is where I point at. This is actually how the Titans work. I'm not gonna complain about that. It's the other shit that I'm complaining about.
Titan is on my heels. You must hurry.
I thought they were bad, but
Ah.
turns out they're just stupid. And stupidity is not a crime.
Okay. So I should say PS2 AAA with modern textures. See, that's what I kind of agree with, right? Is that, like, the way the models move is my problem, more than, the general pieces. I actually have nothing wrong with the Titan, per se. The Titan seems fine. Like, the Titan looking weird, the Titan running stupidly, all that's within the scope of what I understand with Attack on Titan. What I don't agree with is the fact that, like, the main character's raw moment is him just lowering his bottom lip a little bit, right? Like, the way the models moved also, like, their fingers weren't moving. Their hands were moving, the fingers weren't moving. So they would be doing the thing that you used to do in PS1 and PS2 era, where you would just, like, clump the model as a whole, clump the hand as one model and not individually do the fingers, because that makes sense. Right? I feel like the Titans model could have been better, but the whole cutscene is kind of held together by duct tape. Again, it's one of those things of, I think the complaints on the Titan are very low on the scope of the problems I saw with that. Now, again, an argument might be in response, oh yeah, but the rest of the game has those problems that you're pointing out. I'm like, well, that's more of a complaint at the game in general then, right? Like, if what I saw in that cutscene was typical, that's bad. If what I saw in that cutscene wasn't typical, that's also really bad. Like, that's kind of the point to be taken away from all of this, right? The base game is quite better than that. Not good, but better. But the Attack on Titan collab, they just kind of dropped the ball. Yeah, so that's really bad, because there's a lot more to, like, break down from that kind of problem. Because it's never good when you do a collaboration and the quality is subpar. Because it reflects poorly on your partnership with them. Because one of the things that, like, I learned when dealing with, like, collaborative scenarios was the quality you output reflects more on the people you're working with than it does on yourself. Because it reflects what you kind of think of them. Right? Now, I'm not saying that's what the case is here, but that's how it can be perceived. And that's a problem. Right? It's like, how much do you value this collab? We value it this much. Because when you do a collaborative thing like that, the other party is going to get money paid to them equal to the amount of, like, how much the DLC sells, right? Specifically. So when you do a subpar DLC like that, it's basically, I'm clickbaiting people into buying our game that normally wouldn't have, and giving them a subpar product. And by doing this, I gain more money. You don't actually gain that much out of this scenario. And in fact, you lose a lot of face because of this. Because this indicates that you're willing to back things like this. Which, no offense to Attack on Titan, but they've not exactly had a great track record with the things that they back sometimes being of, like, good quality. There's a lot of Attack on Titan collabs that are very poor quality. Very great. I know I say this every creator stream, but I feel like your art is improving quite a bit with every piece. Yeah. I'm glad to hear that. I feel like the studio just wrote off AC Shadows as an unprofitable failure, but they already had the collab set up, so they put in the minimal amount of budget to making it. So, again, I've made it very clear in the past, I don't like doing speculative sort of things too often. Because it doesn't feel like I'm informing at that point. It feels like I'm just kind of, like, butchering an idea. But I don't think you're wrong. Right? Like, that's what I want to kind of say with that statement, is it's like, I don't like that that's a statement we can try and, like, justifiably say, but I also think you're not wrong. Like, that would... I don't like that I'm saying this as well, but, like, that would make sense to me. Oh, god damn it. This program, man. Sometimes I just put in an input and it doesn't like it. There we go. Alright, so I think that's our base stuff to work from. Oh. Oh. Good lord. Bit of a stretch. Oh, do we want to talk about the sad news in VTubing? I don't really want to talk on it for too long if we are going to talk about it, but there is something that is a little sad. I'm sure y'all have, like, seen and clip highlights or messages about it somewhere. It definitely caught me off guard. I think it was yesterday it got announced? Yesterday, day before, something like that. I can't remember. The days have been blending a little bit for me recently. I apologize. Speak your piece. It's about the recent graduation. Yeah. No, it is that sweep. Now, this might not be... Yeah, the angel girl. It might not be very obvious. To, like, immediately how big of a thing that is. what needs to be understood is, Kanata was the idol for idols, right? Like, she was someone that's very foundational to a lot of VTubers even looking at this, looking into VTubing, especially like really early on. She was an incredible person, an incredible personality, and she really brought like the idol to VTubing. Well, I know VTubing was an idol thing originally, pretty much, but like, that's the general thing. Why is my computer struggling so much right now? Jesus. She's going to... So, how she's described it, and again, I read her little note that she wrote, and she wrote it in fucking English as well, which was kind of really helpful. She has medical conditions that made it very, very difficult, like across the board for her, for a lot of things. And the problem was, she stated this, that things outside of the scope of her role, or what she was told her role would be, kept occurring, and it kept taxing her more and more and more. And it eventually got to the point where she could no longer feasibly maintain doing what she was doing. And that's the core problem as to why she's like, she is just overburdened, overstressed, and she is not getting better. So it's reached a capping point where she's like, I need to stop. And yes, because of her medical condition, what people have said, and I don't say that this is yes or no on this, is it does kind of mean that it's very unlikely she's going to be, like, going independent. This actually is very likely her retiring. Which is sad to hear and see, but again, best of wishes to them. Because, yeah, Kanata was an idol amongst idols. She was an awesome and incredible individual and set a lot of the foundation for what VTubing is. As why it's like one of those ones where I felt like I needed to kind of talk about, at least a little. Just because, like, there's no way to not look at her and think about how impactful she's been. Right? New talents have the type of contract, but all talents have a lot of guts, man. It's just a pure guess, but I think Clover might have fucked up rather than the new contracts on their own and the transition between old and new. It's... again, this is where we start getting into that speculative territory that I'm like, I'm not going to comment too much towards, because I feel anything I say might just do a disservice to the individuals around it. They know what they're working with and potentially what they're getting involved with. I would assume, especially on that level of stuff, lawyers would be very much an immediate thought, so I would assume everyone involved is as informed as they can be. So speculating on whether or not something is happening or something is not happening, I feel is disingenuous on my part. Not saying everyone needs to follow what I do. I very much always try and stress to not always follow what I do for stuff, but that's the point I do want to make on that matter, right? Is like, I feel like any guesses I make are just guesses and are, in a sense, playing a dishonest action to those involved, because there are incredibly talented and smart people involved on both sides of everything. I would assume they're resolving things. It's why I don't like talking about the VTubers stuff anymore, because I feel like we're more or less done with it, and anything that will be said about it will be said by the individuals relevant to the situation, and they know what they're talking about. Anything I say is just armchair at that point, right? And I complain about armchair developers enough. I don't want to be an armchair fucking lawyer. The only things I'll ever speak on are things that I'm like, I know how this works, or I know how this works given this context. Because that, I think, is fair to do. Again, I'm very conscious of how the internet works nowadays, and I know how easy it is to say something, whether it's true or not, and just go like, say it with such confidence as well, that makes it almost as if it has to be true, right? Like, this is one of the things, I've not talked about this too much, right? But like, so, I am what I would consider fairly charismatic, right? I've talked about this before, but like, I would consider myself fairly charismatic. Something that has definitely deteriorated in the modern day by comparison to what it was before, but even when I was younger, I was very good at interacting with people and my peers. Whether I liked it or fucking not. Now, why am I bringing this up? I have lived a lot of my life as I mentioned before, a manipulative individual, right? How you do a lot of manipulation, and I'm not giving you a bloody tutorial on this, we're just going over the discussion of it, is that you need to have the confidence to say something and make it believable. Right? You basically need to be a very good... you need to confidently lie, because that will get you a lot further than people realize. Early stream? No. This is the normal time. If anything, I do a lot of late streams recently. Now why I say this is that's kind of a weapon that I knew I had, and I don't like it. That's why I say I try and actively move away from manipulation. Because I have the confidence, I have the charisma to say something and know people will believe me, regardless of if it's true or not. could say a lot of things and I could make y'all believe it, especially at this stage when I've been so good at providing evidence and examples and experience as to why my points are valid, and I can do that with a lie as well. But then I'm breaking that rapport that I have generated with you guys all the way through till now. Like, if I all of a sudden just start doing that, it's like that is betraying the work and effort I've done to counteract anything like that, and it's betraying you guys and your expectations. I call myself a liar a lot? Yeah. No, I openly admit I used to be a very bad person. And I actively avoid it now. But what if you use your powers for good? There's no way to use manipulation for good. I use the ability to read people, still, a little bit, but I don't like using it all the time because it makes me feel very uncomfortable because I see people's weaknesses very easily. Some people naturally do that. I think it always ends up as a narcissistic, sometimes you said, it might be charisma. Again, I openly state this. I came from a family that was extremely manipulative. A lot of gaslighting, a lot of everything. The difference is they were all very, like, gaslight-orientated, scummy behavior. The manipulation I would do was I was just really, really good at making people believe whatever I said and didn't have to guilt trip them to make it be the case. I just got them to believe it to be the case, using their own beliefs and insecurities. Again, stressing how much of a bad person I once was. I will openly say it was definitely narcissistic behavior for me when I was younger. So I did think I was better than people. I did think all that sort of stuff. And then things happened and I learned very much the opposite. And I had to figure out how to process everything that happened. And eventually I ended up where I am now. First time I got my friends to play D&D was through lying constantly about how well I know the rules and how everything is, and then slowly getting them to go to my house to play. Oh, again, that's one of those things of like, yeah, that... there is a sense of lying in day-to-day life is fine. To an extent. Stuff like that is, like... I talked about this with Noxie, a little while ago, is that, like, I compulsively tell the truth. I actually have a really hard time lying. However, you put me in a magic game and I'll bluff my fucking ass off. Oh, do you have any creatures of flying? I don't currently. It's like, so, do I have something in my hand to potentially put a flyer on the board? Does that mean I could make my creatures flying all of a sudden? You don't fucking know. I've now given you a situation where you have to process a thought. Or they try and do something and I ask them, are you sure you want to do that? I might not have any fucking interaction in my hand, but I've now made you second guess yourself. Like, that's a game. That's completely different. It's fine to gaslight your friends in a game. Okay, that's probably not the message I want to be sending here, but... You get the point that I'm trying to make, though, is it's like, there are situations that enable and allow for certain things, and that's fine. We acknowledge that. For me, on the other hand, I just struggle with my day-to-day life to not telling the absolute truth, and why it's basically I normally either tell the truth or I tell a half-truth, or I just openly say, hey, I'm not going to talk about that. And normally if I'm not talking about it, it's because I'm protecting either myself or another person. And I'm pretty willing to say a lot of bad shit about myself, so it normally means it's a legal thing. It's okay to gaslight your friends. Hey now, don't quote that. Now that's gonna make me look real bad. I try to avoid talking like a scientist where we're making a concrete statement. I decide that if I believe something is true, I'll say it is. If it was objectively true, then it's fine believing it. See, I think how I word it is I talk like a businessman or a politician, which is the problem. It means I never give you a direct answer a lot of the time. Like, I'll find ways to skirt around the point as much as I can to lead and always enable options from, like, I always leave an exit path. Right? Think of it like that. I always leave a way to get out of something I've said. But there's like, again, there's slight toxic behavior with that as well, we could argue. I used to do that. I hate doing that now. This is why I'm trying to avoid... Yeah, like, it's something that Okay, this is where I get to the point of... I've already talked about how, like, I actively avoid... Oh, see, now that's an argument I don't make, right, with, Jin. One of the best examples I make nowadays is, like, I'll often put, like, my opinion, before something, or... in my experience, I'll say a lot of that sort of stuff to indicate this is personalized thoughts on this matter, so if I am wrong, then I can just admit to being wrong, like, I can admit my experience is wrong, or my, the knowledge foundation that I've gotten stuff from is what's wrong. It's not that I'm not making a concrete point, per se, it's that I'm not putting myself in a situation that makes me unable to keep participating in the conversation, and it allows for room of, yeah, no, I could be wrong, but what I'm asserting is hard to say you're strictly wrong on, because I'm giving an experience argument, and an experience argument is very hard to counteract. It's like, in my experience, kids tend to be, like, assholes. And it's like, you sit there and go, well, I mean, you're not probably wrong. You've probably interacted with a lot of annoying kids, but not every kid is an asshole. Again, using that as a very loose example to the template, right? So it's a statement you can't per se disagree with, but you could definitely bring up points that feel at ends with it, right? Okay, now I need to try and remember how to do the skin shading technique. So let's take this, then take this. And then it was airbrush, right? In fact, I kind of actually did what I was talking about with that argument just then, didn't I? So I gave you a loose argument, and then I gave myself an out for saying, like, oh, but it's not quite that way, it's this way. That's what I mean by, like, it's something that's built into my core, and I'm not going to be able to stop doing that. I think I still have the thing open somewhere, right? Oh, it's this way I needed to go. That's right. There we go. Cube rope burn. It's... God damn it. I know. I'm trying to get it better. Oh, it's not gonna look good like that. I need to... Yeah. Saying stupid stuff. No, I mean, you're right, though. And that's what's bugging me, because I need to do light adjustments. There we go. Let's see, I've had too much coffee, I need to get rid of it. I'm drinking so much. I honestly would really go for a coffee right now. I'm gonna be honest. I'm done with my energy drink, and I've actually started really enjoying coffees again. Uh, wait. Oh, alright. And then if I dispatch... Always curious about this. Alright. I'm gonna have my security guard shift on December 11th. It's gonna be 18 hours of work, so I'll have a lot of time to watch D&D games while pretending to work. God damn. Oh, 18 hours. That's a rough shift. Damn. I hope I get some good rest after that. It's just 18 hours looking at cameras. Yeah, but still, it's 18 hours. 18 hours is a long time. Let's see. You said that you're watching some D&D shorts from Zach the Bold. Yes, I do watch. Whenever they come up on my list, I do enjoy his bits that he does. Let's see. Do you have a camera on you? Someone watching you watching cameras? Taking into the Switch that I wouldn't advise that. Yeah. Long video, form videos at Zach, guy, and one of them, he said that he never read the actual rules of D&D game, but he did run games. That's amazing. And goes to show, you like, technically speaking, again, when it comes to D&D, you don't, strictly speaking, need to actually know the rules to play the game. This is a perfect proof of the fact that you don't need anything to be able to run D&D, yeah. There are no people except for me. Usually overthink it and have 5e tools on the side monitor. I keep thinking of one-shot ideas and write them down on a for maybe one day make them happen. Fair. Like a stream of people playing D&D and he played in like 1 or 2 games as a player and decided to run some games. That's fucking hysterical. Got myself upset over current politics. Yep. Yeah, that's about right. Is that I had to open a new doc to write them in. You do realize you could like fucking print those out, right? And make money off that. Something that people do nowadays. There's a lot of D&D Kickstarters. Now don't get me wrong, not a lot of them always succeed, but like... it is always an option. Let's see. Downloaded all my PC and things the same. I'm just give a custom rules, something like rules on hordes and rules on poison crafting. Ooh. Right now, going to be switching out D&D games to Pathfinder as soon as I am done with the Curse of Strahd. Gotta play with different systems sometimes, fair. Let's see, I paid for my phone Pathfinder app as well. Damn. What's that one, D&D app that had, like, a huge amount of controversy again? It was D&D Beyond or something, right? Roll20, that's it. I think that was the one that I'm thinking of, actually. Or is it? I don't know. I remember one of those sites had a lot of controversy around it at one point. I was up to date on it, but I cannot remember. Because they fucked up with a lot of things, if I recall. D&D Beyond? Okay. Ah, that's what the problem was. Okay, yeah, that's a bit fucking stupid. Did it have some bad publicity too? Oh god, that's not good then. Did we talk about the GitHub repository with like fucking what? That's yikes. I sent in memes, it was good, all in good fun. Halfling is called a gnome, and for gnome is calling them a halfling. Okay, that's actually kind of funny. Elves and dwarves competing for longest list, yeah. Oh, do y'all like the one time AI has been used well, which is that Arnold Schwarzenegger-ified version of The Lord of the Rings? I'm gonna be honest, that's one of those times where I'm like, okay, this... We talk about how, like, generative AI, the problem is that a lot of the time it's people that shouldn't be allowed to, like, have an idea and make it a reality being able to do that. That's the problem with a lot of generative AI, is it's actively bad like that, right? People have ideas all the time, but they don't have the capacity to execute upon them because, whatever, right? That was one of the few times where I'm like, no, this is something that's just executed fucking hysterically because of AI. And it makes it look so dumb. And it's so great for that. Then you have slurs for half-elves said by elves and slurs said by humans. Discount dryad, damn. God, my desk is shaking when I'm, like, doing some of this. I'm, like, being so fucking harsh with it. There we go. Majula? What? Not sure what that is. It's the current BGM. Is it? Oh yeah, it is. And now it's not. This is also a boss fight that I think would give PTSD to those that have fought it. Oh, fuck. Did you guys see what Mouse tweeted the other day? Actually about From Software. Some of you may have seen it because I responded to it and I just was like, please God, no. No, it's spicy nostalgia is what PTSD is, Sweep. Didn't see the tweet. I'll get it in a sec. Now I can go find the tweet. Twitter. Profile. I don't tweet often, so it'll be very easy to find from here. Yeah, this. Life goal, I want to sing a song for some Souls game one day. And my response is just... I feel like this is dangerous, because I'll be mid-boss fight, and go... mid-boss fight and just go, wait, is that mountain get immediately obliterated? It's like, I'll be mid-boss fight, and I'm like, wait a fucking minute, BAM! I get my tweets from Reddit stealing them? Damn. I mean, I don't blame people for not having a Twitter. It's very reasonable nowadays. You want to not involve yourself with that. Let's see. Whoops. Best day ever. Next Christmas, I'll be in the EU. Things go right. Hell yeah. Nice. I mean, still a bit of a distance away from me, but nonetheless, cool to know. One day I gotta convince you to come to New Zealand. There we go. Oh, dude. Okay, can we just say how, like, that looks actually way cooler than it should? Like that. I like that. Alright. Guess it's about time to start doing the hair up, huh? Probably same layer as the skin as well. I'm lazy. Okay, I need a fucking reference image of Iron Mouse's hair again. There we go. Here's one of the ones that I'm still not great with. Oh, it's classifying these as connected. Open my Google Drive to find a PDF. Guess what I found? APK file for Ilya Alarm app. Huh. I really don't know what to say. I really don't know what to say. No. Does your degeneracy know no bounds? Just gonna have to fix this one afterwards. Okay, there we go. You tell me you don't play the YouTube video of 12 hours of Lotley breathing while you sleep? Yes. Yes, I know. That is a video that exists because I had a friend that would listen to it. And I may or may not have questioned him every time he brought it up. And the fact that it got brought up more than once definitely added to that questioning. Look, again, I'm not someone that wants to, like, bully people for their, like, things that they like. But you have to understand, there is a point in time where I'm definitely going to go, what is going on here? Yeah, I don't think the paint's the way to do this, but I'm gonna have to use the mill pen again. Just gonna do that now. It's always one of those weird ones, right? When you've got like that one friend that's like full blown, you're like, look, I get you've embraced degeneracy. I respect it to an extent. But like, when your degeneracy comes up in casual conversation on a frequent basis, questions have to be raised. Are you seeking help? Are you seeking validation? What's going on here? Right? Can't even ask a question nowadays. Shake my head. I don't know. I feel like you can ask a question, but when you're asking like the same question week after week, and it's about like illicit content that's like clearly you've been told, hey, no one here is interested in the same stuff you're interested in. Not to like ruin your time, but like, brother, you are definitely getting us close to like wanting to call the cops out of either concern for you or someone else. The internet's a crazy place, man. I bring it up for fun topics, but not that often. That seems weird. It was a very questionable individual I'm talking about with this. It was like, again, not to be mean to the guy, just you know what I mean though? Like when you've got like someone like that, you're like, look, it's just starting to get like we're starting to think it's no longer a bit. Like, I'm all good for jokes that are, like, for a bit. I'm not okay with, like, when they're too frequent of the same sort of joke, because you're like, see. When you were joking about being gay so much, people thought you were, just in the closet. Dude, I still love that, right? Like, admittedly, yeah, there was an element for a long time for me as well, where it's just like, how gay actually am I? And I definitely had to question that. And I'm like, going to the realization, I'm pretty gay at this point. I'm not like super gay, but I'm definitely leaning towards men more than women. And it's purely one of those, like, responses to a bad situation. I'm pretty sure it's just down to, like, if I met the right person, it wouldn't matter what fucking gender they were. I did see, one VTuber that said something that I'm like, damn, if I met you in real life, I'd wife you right away. That was funny. That's what, like, the joke is with, like, how I'm not much of a boobs or all these sorts of things, so, like, the attraction to women. Which is where the funny part of it's like, that's just you admitting you're gay. It's like, I mean, you're not wrong. Yeah, I absolutely cannot stress enough, by the way, when I see a hentai, like a doujinshi, and it's like that really excessive sized breasts, I just can't, hey. Like, what is the appeal of this? Someone, please, who actually is interested in that sort of stuff, if you could inform me, what is the charm of a breast that's like absolutely gigantic and looks like it is just pain and misery to have? I'm curious. Not because I want to like it, I just want to know why it's something you like. Like, when the breasts are larger than the actual human body that they're attached to, right? Like, what is the appeal? Right? Like, it's... Fuck, all of you agree with me. Not sure I'm happy about this, or, like, what? I don't know, I've never met someone that likes those. So I've never been able to get, like, a concrete answer to it, right? And it's just, it's one of those things. Out of curiosity, I want to know, what is the appeal? Like, why is this something you like? The flesh deforming thing, like, I can't, maybe is that it? Do they like the super malleability of it all? Is that what the charm is? The topics I bring up sometimes, man. What the fuck? So what did you see on today's Malith stream? Oh, we talked about, like, hentai with gigantic breasts. And we mean, like, big breasts. We mean those gigantic hobadonkadonks. Maybe I'll ask Noxie, because she's into big boobs. Maybe she'll know. I don't know if she's into that kind of big boob, but like maybe she'll have a better understanding of what the charm is. Casual channel, yeah. Casual talk on a casual channel. Gonna get Devil to spend all his money. Hell yeah. Humble bundles are awesome. Humble bundles are really cool. And especially about now is when they're doing the Yogscast Christmas thing, right? I can't remember what the charity is this time. Does anyone know? Is it just the normal stuff? Admittedly, I have not looked. Because I don't have money for games really at the moment. Donating for foreign charities is not allowed technically last I checked here. What? Wait, what? I would assume that's not the case for NGOs, because that would be a human rights violation. That's the blood one. Huh? Okay. Now, mouse, eye colors. I want to do the... Get a chromic one. So it's like a purple one and then a red one? Yeah. Both use laptop and desktop to DM in a game. That makes sense though to me, right? What's going on? Where's the music lagging? Okay, and then, alright. It's getting a little late. Nice to see ya. See you dudes next time. Catch you later, devil. Have a good rest. Okay, there we go. I think that's the right route. Change this to... Oy, oy, oy. Talk about finicky detail, huh? Oh, even I know this boss music. What do we think? I think we're pretty much done now. I guess that should come out pretty decently. Again, got to use some leather technique stuff again. I don't think I did the shoes very well, but like they're very plain comparative to the rest of the body. The hair doesn't pop as much as I would like it to, but I think it's just shadow there is an issue. Is pretty much all it is. I actually really am happy with, so one of the big things I wanted to try with this one the most was to not draw this line here. Because something, I don't know if you guys have noticed, but like I've been drawing, like almost all the lines pretty solidly. So two things I changed with this one was playing with draw pressure a lot more. So a lot more of these lines are inconsistent in a sense. This one here is a great example. This one's got a big heavier bit and then it goes lighter. A lot of the body lines have that, and a lot of the, like, these more shadowed lines have that, right? So that was something that I attempted with this one, but yeah, like, seeing if I could rely more on my actual shading techniques to, like, compensate for that. And I think it kind of works. It could be a bit better, but that's something that's like refinement over time. Skin tone's still pretty decent. Shadowing techniques aren't too bad. I could have been a bit more liberal with them. The fucking leggings are gorgeous. I'm actually very chuffed with that. But the shoes are definitely something that could have taken a little bit more time to work on. Again, also the eyes are a big one. I do not think the eye detailing makes it through unless you're about here, and then they're really, really nice. But when you're at this kind of distance, it's not so noticeable, right? So that's an argument of, like, that could be improved upon. I actually think the eyes could have just been bigger. And that would have probably been, that would have solved my issue a fair bit. I actually think I did pretty decently with a shadow on the shorts as well. The holsters definitely could have improved a little bit, but you know. I do like how they've shaded, I just don't like how they're kind of positioned a little bit. Garter belt? Yeah, it's a garter belt, is what it's considered. Technically speaking, doesn't actually make a lot of fucking sense how I've done it. But like, I've seen too many fucking things that have done them this way that I'm like, I'll just do that. The hair, I tried to be a little bit more subtle with it though, overall. I think the light parts, that's all I really need to start doing, is just that little bit like that. The folds on the hood, but maybe that's pet peeve because that's the last thing I was trying to learn. The folds on the hood, yeah, I feel like I could have done the shadow around there a lot better. I mean, technically speaking, we've actually got like empty space on a lot of that. Because it didn't print through all too well on some of those. But, like, you don't really see the artifact, problems, like, at this distance. I definitely could have done the hoodie better in general, though. I don't think the shadow stuff on it worked the way I wanted it to, because I needed to try and accentuate the bust a little bit, but it didn't really come through. And I couldn't find a way to do it, so I just kind of gave up. But I do think, like, the tummy looks really nice. The shadows are actually quite good. I think overall they're decent, but there's definitely parts of them that are lacking. I mean, I can't get over how nicely those, the stockings look. Like, that actually came out much better than I was expecting for little effort. Tummy is extremely nice. Tummy is very nice. I'm very happy with the tummy. So overall, a little bit of learnings and stuff like that. It's kind of what we're expecting with this. We're expecting. What I'm expecting a lot with these pieces that I'm doing on stream like this is that I'm actively and constantly just kind of reiterating on a process and playing around with it and experimenting and improving and stuff. So that's what happens if we take the lines away, which does look nice overall. Again, this is what I wanted to do with the shadow. We're seeing it right now, is that, like, so much more of the design survives taking away the line art. Right? And so much, and so little actually gets detrimented by taking it away. Normally, it's a quite nice thing to look at. That case, it's really, really nice. Now, of course, we've got to look at this for a moment. Oh, dude, I like that, because it's just, there's a nostalgia level to this art style like that. But yeah, when you take some of the stuff away, again, it immediately you get to see, like, how much that stuff does, right? Like, this is what we've got as our baseline line art and default coloring underneath. Post it like that? You mean without the line art? Like this? I could. It looks much better than it. Like, oh my god, it looks actually really nice if I zoom in like this. Oh, damn, does that look a lot better than I was expecting. Oh, the shading only? I can do the shading only one as well, like that. It's funny as though, because you see, like, the hair was all done on a shading layer. Which is mildly entertaining. I also did nothing with the horns. I could have done something with the horns, but oh, that's very nice. Stylistic, yeah. I like a lot of this, and this is, again, I'm starting to get an idea of how a lot of this works in my head, and I'm getting better and better with this, and I'm very happy about that. Remember that I bet you were gonna turn into the type of artist who skips line art months ago? It's starting to happen. It's starting to get close to that, and that's a dangerous thing. It is. It's a dangerous thing. I mean, I'm probably gonna keep using it because it's still a very good tool. Specifically with anime style. It's when you go to realism more that it starts to, not being as, like, it starts looking better the other way, right? Um... A lot of people still skip it in anime style, but I can't really explain it myself, and it can look very nice. Oh yeah, no, again, there's ways to do it. Anime style leans to liking line art, though. That's what I mean. It's like, stylistically speaking, it benefits from it. Oh, that's upsetting to hear. I don't know how much of this was a, kind of like gut response or what. But apparently Zen's not feeling too happy about the treatment she's been getting about her new outfit. And apparently other, like, her friends are getting harassed about it as well. And I'm just like, that's upsetting to hear. Genuinely. The sketch, but then they skip the line art and start rendering instead. Yeah, there is a real, like, I know what you're talking about with that. There's a specific set of like tools to do that sort of technique. I don't have those tools set up, but I know what you're kind of referring to. Also, apparently, Micron, one of the like big RAM manufacturers, are fucking leaving the market completely. That's wild. But no, I'm upset by the hearing about the Shen thing, the Zen, sorry. I looked into that because I really have a thing for good line art, and kind of want to learn how to do those. I would prefer to probably do line art long term, because I like the styling that comes with it. But I will definitely get to the point with like this, where I will start finding where I can take it away, and avoid using it to use other techniques to make something more visually better. It's naturally happening with you, I wonder though. Yeah. Um... Oh, I wonder what I want to do next. You know what the fun part I did realize though is, I don't know if you guys have seen like how many pieces of art go onto like Twitter and shit like that, and they put speed paints and shit behind it to just like prove, hey, this isn't AI anymore, because it's a big deal. I love how I'm not gonna probably end up doing that, because like 90% of the time I've worked on it either on stream or I'm working, like, or the 1 or 2 times I'm doing it off stream, you fucking know I ain't gonna use AI. The only time I would ever use AI in an art process I have, and we've talked about this and we've actually shown it on stream, is when I am finding references for poses, and at that point in time I don't feel bad about basically copying the framework of what they've drawn, because they didn't fucking draw it. So I can just use it as, hey, here's the foundation of the character, here's the thing, and now I have to adjust it because fuck those AI. Would you put noise filter to fuck with AI? How do you do that? Actually, genuine question. I do not know how to do that. I've heard about it. I don't know how to do it off the top of my head. And I would be more than willing to do it. To all my fucking art. I saw a few videos on YouTube or Twitter. Okay, I might have a look at that later. Because I am fully not against doing that, purely because I am more than up for fucking over AI. Like generative AI that steals art. Again, if you, like, I'll stress this. If someone came up to me and said, hey, I would like to use your art you've done in a generative AI project, I would ask for details on it, but I'd probably be quite willing to allow for that. I definitely want to know what it's being used for, though. Like, that's the big thing. Like, is it being used for profit? Okay, if it's being used for profit, I feel like I should get some dividends. But otherwise, I don't really give a shit. If you're going like, hey, I've got a school project and I need some art, and I just wanted to use your, like, either use your art or use it through a generative model that I have internal, would that be okay? I'd be fine with that. There are a few tools. General misconception is that they're going to poison the whole training data set, but actually they get to protect your art at most. Yeah. Oh, I know they're not, like, big impacts. It just basically, it mucks with the AI's, like, view of a lot of it, so it can't, so when it does the grand scope generating, it just can't really read your image. It's like fighting a leprechaun. No, it does happen. I have, like, again, I've got, my finger in a few pies, so I do know a little bit about the industry. again, it's not that, like, most of the time when that happens, it is just straight up, like, it's a school project where they're trying to make an AI model inside of the assignment. And they're trying to prove it, so they just want some art for it, and they'll ask for that. I heard about that in... thing. Stop fingering pies, I saw that. Yeah, I'll let that through. Turn auto mode off for that one. But no, I do think, like, there's so many levels to the whole argument, because the other problem as well is now AI, not generative AI, AI itself is being targeted by these, like, fear-mongering sort of things. Because there was a fucking, have any of you seen the thing where it was like, they've used a form of AI to basically detect cancer, like potential cancer in patients? I think it's being tested on breast cancer at the moment, where it managed to correctly predict breast cancer 8 years prior to it actually turning up and being detectable. Now, people are hating on that, and I'm like, you're fucking morons. That is exactly what we should be using AI for. And that's nothing wrong with that. What you're complaining about is generative AI. I'm all for using AI on huge data. Yeah. No, AI in the medical field is amazing. I am so happy that it's gotten into that field and is getting tested and effectively used. That's the good thing. The problem is that, yeah, we're getting people that are anti it. Like, I think I talked about this before. My doctor uses a form of generative AI, sort of, to help write his notes while we're discussing stuff in a meeting. And he asks me every time, am I okay with this? This AI is in-house. It doesn't have access to other things. It just helps him write his fucking notes. And it's not like pulling stuff from the internet or putting that data into an internet scenario. It is a medically based one where what it will do is it will help look through the things that have been said, like the things that have been put into it, and also openly state, hey, here's some things maybe you need to have a look at. Here's some medications that could help potentially work with that, and it's down to the doctor to then, like, interpret that information. That's fucking useful, and I want that to be more widely used, because it speeds up the process a lot, and once it gets better, that's amazing. I think it's research made on having a group using an AI help diagnosis in a control group. Yeah, like, there's a lot of stuff that needs to be worked on with a lot of these systems. And again, I want to stress, they're not there yet. They're very, very early days. There's a lot more work that needs to be put into these systems. But god damn, can't you... like, it's hard to deny how fucking awesome that is. Like, the idea that we could get to the stage where we use a system to detect if there's something wrong alongside a doctor. It means that we can probably actually help people faster and easier. So, that was a wild lot of stuff. I feel like I got a little too heated there. Uh... God damn. Hmm. Okay, I think I'm gonna probably finish up shortly. Because I don't think there's much more for me to do on this piece that I'm, like, feeling like I need to do. And I am a little tired. So I think, yeah, we're gonna probably call it here. I'm very happy with this. I'll post it over on the other Twitter later, potentially today, if I remember. Yell at me if I don't. Other than that, yeah. We need to figure out what we're doing next. Actually, no, let's quickly brainstorm what we're gonna try and draw next. What do we want to do? What do we want to do? Because we've been basically alternating between Melody and Iron Mouse recently, right? Do we want to do another piece of one of those two? Do we want to try and do like a Narissa? Do we want to try and do something else? Oh, no, that's right. I did have a plan for the next one. Do you guys want me to attempt to redraw the OC VTuber again with modern techniques that I have? Or, side part to that, would you like to see me attempt to figure out how the fuck you put a model together? Do we want to try... Do we basically, in the next few creative streams, I say next year, it's probably going to be a lot. Do we want to try and actually see how it is to make a model from the ground up? Do we want to try that? I'm not promising a high quality thing, but we could attempt it. It's going to take you a long time. I fully expect it would be a nightmare to do, and especially when we start getting to the live 2D stuff, it's gonna be a lot of... There's gonna probably be quite a bit of lag, but I would be very curious to see how possible it would be to do. I'm not expecting to do a high quality piece, but I would definitely be down to try and make like a very budget-styled model. Even if it's not one that I would use, if it's just one that I can, like, post somewhere and people can use it if they want to use it, as just a testing attempt, I would be more than interested in trying to do something like that. So yeah, I'm thinking we might try that then. I do want to see you with your own model someday. I would love to see me with my own model as well, but... starting as VGen account, oh god. Like, I would love to have my own model, but it's not a high priority for me, right? Maybe a chibi model? The style... So the thing is, I could potentially do a chibi model. It would purely be down to, we'll probably do some experimentation between now and then. Like, I'll probably sort out some ideas, play around with it, and we'll see. But yeah, I do agree. Like, the reasoning is, it's like, while the drawing side's not going to be much easier per se, it's the rigging side would be probably significantly easier on a chibi model, right? Yeah, no, we could do something about it. But yeah, no, I agree. I'd love to see my own model. It's just, I like the fact that I can also keep proving the point that, like, to be a VTuber, you don't need a high investment, right? Like, I've used my personal phone the whole time, and I used the free version of this model for a while, and I bought a 3,000 or no, it was 2,700 yen version of this model, which is the one I use currently. And my computer is, admittedly, it was top of the line, like 7 years ago. 7, 8 years ago. Like, it proves that VTubing doesn't need to be a high investment. It's more down to the fact that you need to be fucking interesting. And I like to think that I'm interesting from time to time. But yeah. Okay, we can make that a little plan for the near future. So yeah, I think we'll finish up here then. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed. You're awesome. Stay awesome. And I hope to see you again next time. Until then, bye-bye.